Hello everybody. Today we actually have a really fun class for you. We would consider this a level 2, but that doesn't mean that not everyone can practice it. You can always just skip out on the little things that you feel a little uncomfortable doing, or ask us questions. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to be working towards more or less a peak pose, and that's called pincha. It's a forearm stand. So you might want to clear some space next to a wall or something like that, just to get ready for a little bit later in class. But first we're just going to start in child's pose. I'll get you guys to make sure that your big toes are together and your knees are nice and wide apart today. And then offer your chest towards the earth. Ensure that your sitting bones are going down and back towards your heels. And then begin to walk your fingers out in front. Ground down through your hands so your elbows lift off of the earth. Make this just a little more active than normal. Once you've set up your variation of child's pose, begin to focus on your breath. Elongating the inhale and slowing down the exhale. Ujjayi, turn it on. We'll take just a couple more breaths here. Allowing the breath to move in and out of the stomach. One more big breath in. And as you breathe out, leaving your hips where they are, walk your hands over to the right side. You can place your left hand underneath your right to anchor it down in space. But from your left hip crease all the way to your left pinky finger, we're trying to create this arch-like shape. So we feel a little bit into the side bodies, into the side of the shoulder. And just one more big breath in on this side. And then begin to walk the hands over to the left, grounding down heavily through right sitting bone, and pushing the hands away. Just feeling this side body open up. Just observe the sensation, allow it to draw you into the body. Elongate your inhale. Walk back to the center. As you exhale, come to a kneeling position. Now here, guys, if you've got a strap, grab a strap. You can use a belt, a towel, even a top, just anything that you can grab in both hands. Now I'm going to suggest for a majority of us, it's going to be about a ruler's length either side, your hands away from each other on the strap. From here, as you breathe in, start to lift your hands up to the sky. Good. We're going to drop the hands down and back, all the way until the strap gets to your hips, and then work your way back forward in space. Now there's going to be this point where the hands have just dropped behind the head, that your hands are going to want to just drop down to the earth really quickly. What I'm going to ask you guys is that you control this movement as best as you can. Keep going with this. Just opening up through the shoulder girdle. This is really important exercise, one that we don't do enough. If you need to have your hands really wide, have them really wide. But as best as you can, just continue to control this movement. Keep your belly engaged so it doesn't flare towards the front of the room. We'll do 2 more like this. Really slow, maybe the hands creep in a little bit more. Good. And place your strap off to the side, your towel, whatever it is, and just make sure it's accessible for a little later. Find your hands and knees. Start to ground down through your right hand. As you breathe in, lift your left arm up. Open up through the chest. As you breathe out, thread that left arm behind the right. Good. We're going to hold here. You can place your left ear down to the earth. And here, with your right hand, reach it up towards the sky. And then wrap it behind your back. Tuck it into your left hip crease if that's accessible for you. If not, you can always bring your arm back. Start to peel your right shoulder open. Try and stack it on top of your left. Just once again, opening up through the side bodies. And just one more big breath in here. Reground your right hand as you breathe out. Big breath in, lift your left arm up to the sky. As you breathe out, ground the left. Breathe in, lift the right. Open up through the chest. Thread through and twist as you exhale. You can reach now that left hand to the sky. Wrap it behind your back. Tuck it into your right hip crease. Use this bind to start to open the chest and feel the twist enter the thoracic spine. As I say so much, not compromising the breath for depth. That should be our first priority always. Just one more big breath in. Reground the left hand as you breathe out. Lift the right arm up, take a big breath in. Hands to the earth as you exhale. Now we're going to spend a little bit of time on our wrists, so we're going to warm them up. 5 wrist push-ups. Leave your whole fingers and knuckle mound on the earth as you breathe in. Peel up through the heel of your hand and your thumb. And as you breathe out, drop your wrists down to the earth slowly. See if you can get both wrists moving at the same time. Become really mindful. And if there's a little bit too much weight for you and you're struggling, you can take your hips further back in space to alleviate some of the weight that's stacked on top of your wrists. Good, there might be 2 or 1 more left. Just move really, really slow. 1 more, Tyler. Hands down to the earth. You can shake them out if you need to. But after that, we're going to find our downward facing dog. First one of the day, maybe, or maybe you've done one of our classes. Just start to pedal out through the heels. Spread your fingers out wide. Just make sure that the knuckle mound, that's grounded. It's really common for a lot of us to peel out onto the outer edges of our hands. I'm speaking to those yogis. Ground your hands down. It's super important. Maybe you find stillness now. Land in that downward facing dog. Take just one really big breath in. And a long breath out. And bring your right leg up to the sky. Take a big breath in. Take your right knee to your right armpit as you breathe out. We're going to try on our elevator drop. Drop your right knee to hover near your wrist. Breathe in. Pull it back up as you breathe out. Let's try that one more time. Slowly drop the knee. Lift it back up. Breathe out. 3-legged dog. Take a big breath in. And foot comes to the earth as you breathe out. Now you guys are going to feel your core during that elevator drop. That's exactly why we're there. Left side, let it lift. Take a big breath in. Knee towards your armpit, stay buoyant. As you inhale, let it drop. As you breathe out, hug it back up. One more time. Let it drop in space, breathe in. Hug it back up, breathe out. 3-legged dog, take a big breath in. Foot drops down to the earth as you breathe out. Now guys, I'm going to get you to come down to your knees and look forward. Take a look at the screen. Tyler's going to demo something for you. Just while you sit and catch your breath, watch. Right leg will lift. Take a big breath in. The knee is going to come to the armpit as you breathe out. Drop it down in space. Breathe in. Hug it back up. Breathe out. Step your right leg back and behind. Wild thing. Good. You're going to ground down a lot through your left hand. Keep watching. This is to open this anterior side of the body. Tyler's going to take one more big breath in. Chaturanga with your right leg lifted as you breathe out. 3-legged dog. Push back and up. Breathe in. foot comes to the floor, breathe out. That chaturanga with leg lifted, lifting back up into your three-legged dog is tough. If you need, you can lower into chaturanga on your knees and then just push straight back into your downward facing dog. Modify as you need. We're going to go through this together now. Start to set up your downward facing dog. And we'll walk through this flow. Be really mindful. Sorry, Tyler, you're going to do your right leg again. Let it lift. Take a big breath in. Knee towards your armpit. Breathe out. Drop it down in space. Big breath in. Hug it back up. Breathe out. Step it back in behind. Wild thing. Open up through the anterior side. Chaturanga. Keep your right leg lifted and lower. Three-legged dog. Push back up. Knee to nose as you breathe out. Step in between the hands. Crescent lunge. Take a big breath in. Welcome to level 2. Make sure you're tucking that belly button in as much as you can. A really big bend in that back knee. We're wanting to work on the psoas here. Squeeze your left butt cheek on more. And maybe you reach your arms up higher. Let's take one more big breath in. Cactus your arms as you breathe out. Open up the chest, squeeze shoulder blades together, breathe in. Close off and round the upper back, breathe out. One more time, open up, breathe in. Extended arrow and pause as you exhale. Belly button in, tailbone down. Reach forward, sit with your sensation. Find that willpower to notice it without the need to change it. Let's take one more really big breath in. Reach forward. Left hand towards the earth as you exhale. Right hand to the sky, side plank. Take a big breath in and pause. Lift your hips up higher. Good. Keep reaching your hand up towards the ceiling or sky. Maybe you take your gaze up for your last big breath in. Chaturanga as you breathe out. Take an upward facing dog. Open the chest and the belly. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Catch your breath. Continue to be mindful. And know that even though you might be alone in your room or lounge room, there are other people practicing this with you. They're right there. Tyler especially. Lift your left leg up to the sky. Take a breath in. Take your knee towards your armpit. Breathe out. Use the space in the belly. Drop it down in space. Let it hover. Breathe in. Hug back up as you breathe out. Step it back and behind. Wild thing. Open up. Pause for a moment. Send your hip points up towards the sky. Open the anterior side. Take one more big breath in. Chaturanga with your left leg lifted or maybe on your knees. Push up to three-legged dog. Keep the belly on. Knee towards your nose as you breathe out. Step in between the hands. Set up. Crescent lunge. Your heartbeat, yeah, I bet you can feel it, right? It's going pretty fast. Slow down your exhale. That's going to slow down your heart rate. And tuck your tailbone down and under. Hands reach up. One more big breath in. Cactus your arms as you breathe out. Keep them strong. Open the chest. Breathe in. Baby back bend. Close over around the spine as you breathe out. One more time. Open up. Take a big breath in. Extended arrow. Reach forward and breathe out. You guys will notice Tyler's right on his toes. We want to stay really high on the ball of our back foot. Squeeze your right glute on, your right butt cheek. Good. Keep this leg engaged. Let's take one more big breath in. Right hand to the earth as you breathe out. Peel open, side plank, a big breath in. Lift your hips higher. Take your right shoulder blade down your back. pull it in towards the socket. One more big breath in, guys. You've got it. Chaturanga. As you breathe out, elbows hug in, lower slow. Upward facing dog, that release, but you're still active. Downward facing dog as you breathe out. This active home base is always accessible to you. Always. Even a child's pose if that's what you need. Let's take one more big breath in and a longer breath out. One breath, one movement. Right leg, let it lift up. Big breath in. Take the knee to the armpit, round the upper back. Drop it down in space, a big inhale. Hug it back up as you exhale. Step the right foot back and behind. Peel that front side open, really nice. Chaturanga, right leg lifted, lower slow. Push back up, belly on, breathe in. Knee to nose, breathe out. Step in between the hands, rise, crescent lunge. Cactus the arms, use a whole exhale. Open up through the chest, breathe in. Close over around the spine as you breathe out. Open up, belly on, inhale. Extended arrowhead, breathe in. Left hand down, right arm rises. Use a breath in to arrive. Chaturanga as you breathe out or straight back to downward facing dog. Guys, look after your body. Let's go to the other side. Straight away, let the left leg lift. Breathe in. Knee to armpit, round the spine. Breathe out. Drop it down in space. Control the core. Hug it back up. Use the exhale. Step it back and behind. Push the floor away. Breathe in. Chaturanga. See if you can keep that leg lifted, collarbones broad. Push back up in space. Inhale. Knee to the nose, breathe out, step and rise, crescent, heavy base, fluidity, upper body, cactus the arms, open the chest, a big breath in, close over, breathe out, expand, inhale, extend, exhale, slow and steady, right hand down, left hand lifts. Arrive in your side plank. Chaturanga as you breathe out. Up dog, open the chest, push the floor away. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Let's go again. Right leg will lift. Breathe in. Pull the knee to your armpit, stay high. Drop it down in space, inhale. Hug it back up, exhale. Step it back and behind. Reach that left hand. Slow and steady, chaturanga. Right leg lifts, take a big breath in. Knee towards nose as you breathe out. Crescent rise, inhale. Cactus to exhale. Open up, squeeze your shoulder blades more. Close over, breathe out. Open back up, yogis, take a big breath in. Reach as far forward as you breathe out. Left hand down, right arm lifts. Inhale. Chaturanga or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. That's where we'll meet. On your next breath in, let your left leg lift. Can you move slower? Can you breathe slower? Take the knee to the armpit, round the upper back. Drop it down in space, control. Lift it back up, breathe out. Step it back and behind, push the floor away, open up. See if you can lower slowly, left leg lifts. Three-legged dog, push the floor away. Knee to nose, we're nearly off the hands, step in between them. Rise up, tailbone down and under every time we arrive here. Cactus the arms, exhale. Open the chest and belly, breathe in. Round over, breathe out. Open up one more time, take a big breath in. Reach forward, high on the ball of your back foot. Right hand down, left lifts, breathe in. Lower down, slow chaturanga, or land in that active home base. Guys, we're gonna do it one more time. We're preparing for something big. When you are ready, right leg lifts. Take a big breath in. You guys have got this. Take the knee to the armpit, stay high. Drop it down, stability through the core. Lift it back up, use the exhale. Wild thing, enjoy this expansion. Chaturanga, keep that right leg lifted. Three-legged dog, push the floor away, good. Knee to nose, breathe out. Step in between the hands, rise up, breathe in. Cactus to breathe out. Open the chest, big breath in. Close over and round as you breathe out. One more time, open up, guys. Reach forward, extend your arrow. Left hand down, right arm lifts. Take a big buoyant breath in. Low plank or down dog as you breathe out. Let's meet there. For our last side, you guys have got it. Lift the left leg up, breathe in. Take the knee to the armpit as close as you can, breathe out. Drop it down, use a breath in. Lift it back up, breathe out. Step back and behind, open up, inhale. Chaturanga, left leg lifted, breathe out. Lift back up, inhale. Knee towards nose, step in between the hands, rise. Cactus the arms, breathe out. A whole breath in to expand. A whole breath out to close over. One more time, enjoy that big breath in. Reach as far forward as you can, breathe out. Right hand down, left lifts, inhale. Last chaturanga or downward facing dog. Up dog, push the floor away. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Guys, bring your knees down to the earth, land in in hero's pose, a kneeling posture. You can close your eyes or you can keep them open. And this isn't just a break to switch off. This is an opportunity for you to check in. How are you feeling? Where's the energy sitting? Is the heart rate lifted? Or are you actively trying to control your breath to bring that heart rate down? We're going to take 3 more rounds of breath. Breathe slow, fluid. If your eyes aren't already open them, watch. Tyler's going to do a little demo for you. We're going to come into downward facing dog. We're only going to do 3 dolphin push-ups, just 3. If you know what they are, you're welcome to go straight there. If you don't, look forward in space. A dolphin push-up is where we move from a downward facing dog on our forearms to a regular downward facing dog. So here, what's really important is as you lower your elbows to the ground, they stay in line with the shoulders and the hips stay high. So let's do this together. Come into your downward facing dog. Maybe you take a little step forward to shorten your stance. Take a big breath into the belly. Drop both elbows, hug them into the center as you breathe out. Lift back up, push the floor away. 2 more. Lower down, hug them in. Push the floor away. Try and get both elbows moving at the same time. Lower down. Good. Come back up into your downward facing dog. Knees to the earth. Hero's pose. It's a really good one to strengthen the upper body. It's super tough though. So if you found that challenging, again, welcome to the club. I do too. It's a really tough one for the shoulders. Just get you to face forward for me, Tyler. Grab that strap, towel, top, whatever you're using. And we're going to do the same thing as we did at the beginning of class. But I ask you guys to be really mindful and checking, is there any differences? So bring your hands onto your strap, lift them up in space, and then slowly drop it down and back. Control that movement. You should be going at the same pace the whole way through. See if you can keep your tailbone tucked under, your belly button in towards your spine. We're going to do this 4 more times. Maybe you notice that your hands are a little closer towards one another. That's great. It's really amazing when we start to work into the shoulder girdle, when we work into the chest. A lot of that has happened in our flow. And these are the moments we get to see that almost instant growth and space grow in the body. And just a couple more. Again, move really, really slow. We are in no rush. Make this the last one. Good. I can notice in Tyler's body that space that's grown. It's really, really cool. Just roll your shoulders back in space 3 times and then roll them forward in space 3 times as we now prepare for our peak pose. Okay, so the fun part begins. This is maybe where you want to move, like if you're on a tablet, your phone, your computer, whatever, move it a little closer to a wall. The reason I say that is because we're going to start to kick up into our forearm stand. So just be a little prepared and a little wary of what's around you. But let's play with pincha. Alright, so please look forward, check out Tyler and the way that he's coming into this shape. Now what's most important about pincha is that your elbows and hands are shoulder width distance apart. So bring your hands to the earth, shoulder width distance apart, and then drop your elbows down. Make sure shoulder, elbow, hand is in line. If you guys have a yoga block, you can always bring it into this L-like shape to hug your hands to the midline. But what you must keep engaged throughout this whole time is elbows hugging in. It's going to make sense when you start to kick up into it. So once you've got this upper body base set, start to lift up onto your toes. Bring your hips really high. Again, please just continue to watch. Watch Tyler jump into this. He's going to start to walk his feet just a little bit closer. And then from there, you'll leave one foot on the earth and you'll start to lift the other leg. I'm not going to tell you which one. It's going to feel right for you. From there, you can just take little baby jumps up into the air. Notice how Tyler's not coming too high off of the earth. That's where you want to start until you feel like you can kick up and into this shape. Don't feel like you need to look like Tyler. He's been doing this for a really long time. Essentially, you want the wall to be where I am, so you can kick up against it and it's going to stop you from falling over this way. It's really important here that you continue to push your elbows into the earth and hug them into the midline. That's going to make sure you're not dumping into your shoulders. You're keeping that upper body safe. Belly on, of course, that's a huge part of this pose. But again, just play around with it. And the reason we say play is because we really want to encourage this playful curiosity in comparison to seeing the posture and being like, nah, that's not for me. You have spent the last half an hour or so preparing your body to land in this shape. Please give it a go. All right, if you want to watch Tyler jump up and into it one more time, again, look forward. Elbows in line with shoulders, shoulder width, really important. Hug them to the midline before you even think about kicking up. And then when you kick up, do so gently. If you have gyprock walls, please be careful. Don't send one of your heels through the walls. But again, you can have both legs straight, or what you would have noticed is when Tyler came up into this, his legs were in a stag-like shape. What this does is having one knee closer in towards the body is going to ensure that when you do fall, if you fall, you're going to fall the appropriate way. You're going to fall away from the wall. Good. Guys, I'm going to say, give it a go. Pause the video if you want to pause the video. Have fun with this. Again, your body is ready. It's safe. Just make sure elbows hug to the midline. Push the floor away. Push your elbows down. That's going to protect through the shoulders. Enjoy. If you've paused the video, enjoy. But if you're ready to continue to move on, we're going to land back in our comfortable seat. Close down through your eyes and just focus on your breath for a second. Whatever happened, whether you had a laugh, a giggle with a person that's there for you, or if you laughed and giggled at yourself like I usually do, just start to come back into the breath and let whatever happened leave the mind. Just come back into that really mindful state. Take just one more big breath in. A really long, slow breath out. Start to send your heels off towards one side, your legs out in front, lay down on your back. For a moment, just land. Feel the body lay flat. After all of this work, you guys have done so much. Well done. Just notice how the body's feeling. If the breath is shallow or deep. One more big breath in. And bring your heels towards your sitting bones as you breathe out. The work is not yet done. We're coming into bridge pose. We've done a lot to work into these kind of back bend shapes. So we're going to utilize the warmth in the body to see if we can get a little deeper into these postures we find in many of our yoga classes. When you're ready, ground down your feet so much so, your breath in, lifts your hip points up to the sky. Start to roll your shoulders underneath and push the outer edges of your arms into the earth. Big toe mounds grounded a lot. Knees hugging towards the midline, but they're not touching. That's evened out with a squeezing of the glutes. Keep lifting your hips higher. Keep broadening the chest towards the back of the room. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. Stay high. Your body is so much more capable than what your mind will allow it to believe. Push past those sensations. Just 1 more breath. Lower down as you breathe out. Windscreen wiper the knees from side to side. We have 2 more back bends up for offer. Because we're so warm to get into wheel, if you'd like to do 2 wheels and wheel is a part of your practice, you're more than welcome. If you'd prefer to do another bridge and then wheel, go for it. Or if you just want to do 2 more bridges, you're more than welcome to do whatever your body needs. I'm going to throw Tyler under the bus and say he's going to do 2 wheels for you, because I know he can. And we push each other just like we push you guys. Alright, so for those of you who are going into wheel or bridge, we're going to enter the exact same way. As you breathe in, push your feet into the earth, lift your hip points up, find your limit. Bridge pose, stay. If you're coming into wheel or you want to give it a go, frame your head with your hands. Push the floor away so much, don't come onto the crown of your head. Lift straight up into wheel pose. It is so important that your toes face forward in space. Your feet aren't flared out. Hug your knees to the midline, push the floor away with your feet. Hug your elbows to the midline, push the floor away with your hands. Keep buoyant here. Again, we've worked really hard to create this posture safely and find a new limit. Stay for 1 more big breath in. You guys have got it. Tyler's there with you. As you lower down, tuck your chin to your chest. Land slowly on the back of your shoulders. Hands to your belly. Windscreen wiper your knees from side to side. Now, one thing I find really amazing about asana is we're not lifting weights. We're not running. We spend this whole time on this tiny little mat, and yet the heart rate lifts. We're building strength the whole way through our body. So for just one moment, appreciate that. Appreciate the bodily control that you're creating. Appreciate the flexibility, mobility that's landing in the body throughout this practice. But you guys know we've got one more back bend left. Just one more, I promise. When you are ready, begin to create your variation of either bridge or wheel. Use a breath in to arrive in your posture. It's so important that the belly is engaged in bridge or wheel, but not so much so that you can't breathe. That's called locking out the core. We want to find like a 45% engagement through the belly. But as much as you can, keep pushing the floor away, hands and feet, or just feet in wheel. Keep the hip points lifted. You guys have got it. Let's take 2 more breaths wherever you are. When you're ready, slow and control. Down to the mat, hug your knees in towards your chest, curl your forehead in towards your knee. There's been quite a lot of back bending going on in this class. So I really encourage you guys, find this flexion of the spine. Maybe you roll side to side, just massage through the lower back. Just one more breath like this. Really nice. We're going to bring the body into more of a state of calm before we start to cool down. We're going to come into Viparita Karani, or shoulder stand. Yogi's choice. For Viparita Karani, you can place your clenched fists underneath your hips and then lift the soles of your feet to the sky. If you have a pillow, a block, a bolster, anything like that, just elevate your hips a little higher than your heart and stay. For those of you who are comfortable in shoulder stand and there's no pressure in the cervical spine, your neck, we'll move there now. Use just a touch of momentum to bring your hips over your shoulders, and then your feet and your knees over your hips. Look straight up, not side to side. It doesn't matter whether you're in Viparita Karani or shoulder stand, I ask that you become really present surrounding your breath. Breathe really slow, feeling the expansion and the contraction through your midsection. We're going to stay in this posture for 2 more rounds of breath. Full breath in, a full breath out. Viparita Karani, you can stay. For those of you in shoulder stand, if you want to move through plow, you're welcome. Dropping your toes overhead, allowing them to touch down to the earth. Bring your hands off your lower back, place them on the earth, clasp them together, push the floor away with the outer seams of your arms. No matter if you're in plow, shoulder stand, or Viparita Karani, now's the time to slowly bring the body back to the earth. Control this movement as best as you can. Once you land, land. Feel the body back neutral. Really enjoy this shape. And just one more big breath into the belly. As you exhale, move towards fish pose. Bring your hands down by your side, palms facing the earth, so your thumbs will be next to your hips. Slide your hands in and underneath your body wherever they land. Start to roll your elbows underneath your torso. Ground them down so much. Lift your chest towards the sky. Hug your elbows towards the midline. Open up through the chest. So the hips will stay grounded, but then we've got this beautiful arch through the upper body. We're not applying any pressure into the crown of the head when the head drops back. We're just simply dropping it back in space to open up through the throat. Breathe really slow. Just one more big breath in. Tuck your chin to your chest. Lower down slowly as you breathe out. Pause. Whatever sensation lingers within the body, can you remain present with that? Observe it rather than avoid it. Really slowly start to bring the right sole of your foot towards the sky. This is where you can use that strap, towel, top or belt, and clasp or place that strap through the midsection of the foot and start to draw your foot in towards your body. You're not going to be here for too long. Just aiming to find a little more space through the lower half. You are totally in charge of the level of sensation you bring into the body. There is absolutely no reason to force this, to create a sensation that you can't sustain. You still aim to be gentle and compassionate. Take just 3 more breaths here. This part of class is so important, guys. Commit to these holds. When you feel as if you are ready and you've received what you needed out of that, start to drop the right outer edge of your foot off to the right. Keep that leg high. Keep drawing the toes in towards the head. Offer the right outer foot to the earth, but as best as you can, energetically start to ground down through the left hip and sitting bone. You want to ensure that that left side is peeling up and following the direction of the stretch. Energetically, left side grounded, right side pulled to length. Two more breaths. Please know if you don't have a strap or anything like that, you can just grab hold of the foot. A bend can stay in the knee. There's always options around this. Slow and controlled, bring the sole of your foot towards the sky. And let's swap over sides. Honor that there will be a difference from one side to the other. Make sure that you allow that. Our everyday activities are going to determine what side is a little more open in comparison to the other. If it's a little more comfortable, the right sole of your foot can come to the earth with a bend in the knee. Once again, modify as you need, move as you need. I'm going to take 2 more breaths here. These long and luscious breaths still moving in and out of the belly. Use an exhale to lower the outer edge of your left foot towards the earth. No need to force. Just allow gravity to pull on the left outer leg. Energetically, you're still drawing your right hip to the earth. And this is where the magic's found. This mobility that we crave in our lives, and that when you get really deep into your practice, you end up not being able to live without. So if you feel as if this is uncomfortable, see if you can choose to sit with that, push past it. Just 2 more rounds of breath. Slowly, sole of your foot back up towards the sky. Release that strap. Place it off to the side. Leave the left leg grounded. Hug the right knee in towards your chest. And then once you feel as if you are ready, allow that right knee to fall over the left side of the body. Keeping the chest open towards the ceiling or sky. And just like in that last posture, energetically that right shoulder blade is drawing heavy to the earth. After all of these back bends, a twist in the spine is so important to rinse it out. Take 2 more breaths here. Once you feel as if you are ready, know you can stay longer if you please. Roll back towards center. Hug the left knee in towards the chest. Allow it to fall to the right. Shoulder blades heavy. Eyes closed down. Utilize this time to find stillness. Start to surrender the body into these postures and these longer holds. Just 1 more big breath in. See if you can twist a touch deeper as you breathe out. Roll back towards center. Take happy baby. Bring your knees in towards your armpits. Catch the outer edges of your feet or behind your thighs. Maybe you take a little rock from side to side because it feels nice for the lumbar spine. As best as you can, keep your hips to the earth. Draw your knees in towards your underarms. One more big breath here. our last and final pose. Close down your eyes. Unclench your jaw. If the tongue is pushing against the roof of your mouth, allow it to drop. Feel the heaviness of the back of your skull. The heaviness of your shoulders, your hips, and your heels. Breath can be as shallow as you want. Offer up that control. Become aware of the body and your surrounding. Introduce deeper breaths in and out of the belly. Small movements in the fingers and the toes. Roll off to one side and then push yourself up to a seat. Once you've landed, hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Bow your head to your hands. Together we acknowledge this practice. Together we acknowledge each other. And together we acknowledge ourselves. Namaste.
Namaste.
We know that was a tough one, guys. Please let us know how you go. We would love to hear about your pincha play. And photos are totally welcome as well. But we'll see you next time. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.